Hello. It started, as many things do, in the mud. Created by Roy Trubshaw and Richard Bartle in 1978, it was the first of the text worlds, alternate realities simulated on computers that hundreds of people could connect to at once. A world where the very design was intended as a blow against class structures and rigid identity, mud allowed people to choose their own genders, to become wizards even if their accent was from the wrong part of the country. But virtual worlds were too powerful an idea to be invented only once. By 1985, video game developers had invented them again on a Commodore 64 and given us the modern meaning of the word avatar. By 1989, virtual worlds had sprung up in the thousands, a whole galaxy of children of mud. They were run by students stealing CPU from pricey Unix workstations. They were banned in Australia. Some few, led by pioneers at various companies with names like Kesmai, Mythic, Simutronics, had become commercial endeavors. By 1990, virtual worlds had split into camps that live on today. We began to confront the issues of online governance. Who gets a vote in how a world runs? Who has privacy online? And who watches the watchmen? The famous rape in cyberspace case took place on Lambda. Virtual conflicts moved to the real world in the earliest forms of doxing. By 1993 to 1995, pictures had arrived on the web thanks to Mosaic. And around the world, projects were initiated within a few months of one another, caught up in the dream of bringing visuals to virtual worlds. Some took longer to build than others. Worlds for building. Worlds for roleplay, worlds for furries, worlds where you walked through dreams, with release dates scattered through the second half of the 90s, and of course, the first world in a box. And after what were termed the Big Three: Ultima Online, EverQuest, and Asheron's Call. The thing to realize is that we all knew each other. We'd played together on the muds. We gave each other jobs. We hung out on a mailing list called Mud Dev and freely traded our design ideas, which were a tad too weird for GDC, so we made our own conference that we ran out of restaurants. The second floor of Il Fornaio in San Jose, in the middle of the sausages and the sauerkraut at Teske's Germania. When we came to GDC, we told people we weren't sure we were just making games. We built bugs by the tens of thousands. We tried to simulate ecologies and created environmental disasters. We built economies reading textbooks to master an impossible task because our worlds were vast experiments. Dark Age of Camelot, EVE Online, Star Wars Galaxies, Project Entropia. Many worlds were rough, implausible, buggy, and unfriendly. And in 2004, the game industry finally kicked us in the ass and brought us back to reality when Blizzard launched World of Warcraft. Polished, expert, slick, fun, it was the hack and slash game that nailed the form down and collapsed the possibility space. It was in some ways an end of history. The budgets and risk were high. The payoff, stratospheric. Hundreds of MMO projects were launched, and few made it. In its wake, the social worlds continued. Second Life enabling education, virtual concerts, and sex bots. Pretty soon, there were worlds for children. Not long after, there were worlds for teens. RuneScape became the gateway game for a whole generation of MMO players. And in Asia, MMOs became the default game-playing mode for quite some time, posting up stats that made observers incredulous. Today, titles like Star Wars: The Old Republic, Lord of the Rings, Elder Scrolls Online, and others have kept the torch alive. But in the end, MMOs moved out of the spotlight. We'd predicted as much. We said that someday we would give way to AR glasses and mirror worlds. MMOs gave you game guilds. MMOs gave you free to play. They gave you the profession that we now call community management. They birthed the farming game that became social gaming. Would there be Bitcoin today if it hadn't been for gold sellers? Because there sure wouldn't be Minecraft without mud. Aspects of MMOs even gave you Facebook itself, a world with no world there. one that maybe hasn't listened closely enough to the old lessons on player rights and governance. And what's Twitter but guild chat for the world? What's Facebook and LinkedIn but your character sheet, reinforcing rather than challenging notions of identity? We are all avatars now, but maybe our worlds are a little more mundane. Today is going to end with goggles and the promise of virtual being realer than ever. But today, all the console games are like MMOs writ small. Chat pop-ups as you're driving your car and hijacking a pedestrian, badges earned. We weren't wrong. MMOs did swallow everything, and maybe now you can't see them as clearly from inside the belly of the beast. As those of you working in VR charge off to build your worlds, I ask you to heed the lessons of your forebears. From whence you came, so shall you be. The future is still muddy. Thank you.